Hi, I'm Nick.
I'm Jean-Luc, and we're the Wellness Warriors. And this is Have You Met Melanie? Hi, Melanie.
Hi guys, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm enjoying a rainy Sunday here in Nova Scotia. So it's not bad. We don't have snow and it's not minus anything. So awesome.
Always awesome when it's not minus something, right?
Right? This morning I was running and I'm like, it's 4 degrees in the middle of January. I'll take that all winter long. I'll take that till spring. It's fine. Yeah. So it's, yeah.
We're very excited to have you with us today because, again, this is our second interview we're doing. And so, Melanie, we met you last year and your story is so amazing. It really
thank you.
touched us. And that's why we wanted to do this with you for a while, actually. And
I remember going through our emails and seeing a message we sent to you after a WW. And I said, we'd really like to work with you. And we hadn't really zoned in on how we wanted to do this. Yeah. And now that we've created our Have You Met series,
it's awesome.
Great way to bring you in. So
yeah.
So first things first, let's learn a little bit more about Melanie.
Okay.
Yourself, where you're from, Halifax, near Nova Scotia, and also tell us a little bit about your journey on WW or your journey as a whole.
Okay. My name is Melanie Bennett and I am 45 years old and I am from Wellington. I live in Wellington, Nova Scotia, which is very close to Fall River. That's where I met you guys a year ago in November, I guess. My journey, I was always overweight, but I was sporty, so I could carry a little extra weight and it was okay. And then in university, the little extra weight became a little more extra weight and into my 20s. And I've always been heavy, but I could carry it, so to speak. And I was diagnosed with MS almost 15 years ago. And that really caused a lot of physical issues for me. And the weight gain continued, stress eat, sadness eat, boredom eat, eat. And in 2015, I had a treatment for my MS that was a form of chemo. So I did 2 rounds of chemo. In between the 2 rounds, I lost my dad very, very suddenly to cancer. Yeah. It was my chemo. My first round ended. I did my 4 weeks of isolation. I saw my dad and he was diagnosed 2 weeks later. But I guess everything does in the end happen for a reason. His loss and the loss of my mobility. I was walking with a cane. I had to make some changes. And so in 2016, the end of 2016, I walked back through WW's doors for probably the 3rd or 4th time. Let's be honest. I've done them all. And I went back differently. My focus was I needed to get control of my relationship with food because I can do a diet. Like you tell me what to eat and how many points it is and how many I should have, I'll eat it. But until I tackle the demons about eating, it's always going to be a diet, and it was never a lifestyle change.
There's another story that I actually remembered from over a year ago now, and you had said picture you saw and you didn't even recognize it was you, and if I'm not mistaken, it was your niece that was
you've got a good memory. Look at you. Yeah. So I was probably 100 pounds overweight. And I was on Facebook one day and my niece had been here in the city for a staycation with her family. And we had gone to a barbecue at her in-laws that they live close by. And when, like what everybody does, when they get home, they post the pictures of their vacations. And I'm scrolling through her pictures and I'm eating my breakfast. And then I scrolled back and I had a desktop. There was none of this. I had a desktop. So I scrolled back up and then I went, who is that fat woman with my niece? And it was me. And I literally sobbed. I broke down. No, I cried and I cried and I cried because you don't look at yourself. You just see this part. Like right now, like I could be 500 pounds. You wouldn't know it because all you see is my face. And I is how I started my Weight Watcher journey, is because of a photo on Facebook. And I have that picture, I save it in my camera roll. And every once in a while, I need to pull it out and remind myself of where I came from and how easily I could get back there. But, oh, go ahead.
And no, but what?
The biggest thing was this time I didn't come back looking for a pant size. I didn't come back because I was going to a wedding. I wasn't going to my family. And those are all really great. Like, I am not, everybody's journey is different. I was coming because I was fighting for my life. I could see a wheelchair coming for me with my MS, and I couldn't, I was too young. And I was successful with this treatment, and I walked through WW's doors, and that was it. It was game on. I walked the hallways of my building using a cane, walked around the block. And then one day I didn't need my cane anymore, and I had lost weight.
That right there, when you tell that story in Halifax about like the fact that you knew that you had to do something for your future, really resonated with us, because it was something that we also had to look at. And I love that you're sharing. A lot of people, when they look at their why, they don't look at that aspect of it. They don't look at the wheelchair or the future. They look at more of, so like the next event I'm going to go to, the next.
Yeah.
They don't look farther down the line. I love that you shared.
And I also love that you didn't allow your diagnosis to stop you from saying, I need to do something still.
I did for a long time. Like, it was a pity party, and I had this diagnosis at 30, and my life was over, and I had to give up my career. Like, I did for a long time. And then I had a very aggressive form of MS. That's what my neurologist would say. He said, every treatment we give you, your body reacts the way it's supposed to. When the antibodies enter your system, they fight it. But what my body doesn't do is it doesn't like say, oh, that is something good that we're going to let it in. That is something bad we're going to fight. It just fights everything. So it's why I don't get a cold. Right. Like, literally, it's why I don't get a cold. I don't get the flu, because I have a very strong immune system. Unfortunately, it worked against all of my treatments. So this was the last option I had. And I'd gone through everything that was available in Nova Scotia to patients of MS in 3 years, every treatment option. And this was it. And they said, we need you healthy 3 to 5 years, or the new treatments that are coming. There's great things coming down the road. And there are. You won't be a candidate because your disease will be too progressed. And I was like, not happening. Like, no, it's not happening. Like, I was so determined, and I was so driven. I really was. And a friend of mine, it's funny, a friend of mine, Andrew, said to me, he said, you tell stories about your past. And he said, when you have a plan, you're successful. When you go willy-nilly, that's when you fail. So he said, your plan when you walk through those doors was, it's not happening. I am not going to end up in a wheelchair, and I'm going to go down fighting. And that's what.
You just said it there. You said my body, the inside of your body was fighting things off. But look at how strong you were as yourself, being a fighter. Yeah. And I love that, because without saying it, you just talked a little bit about your why.
Yeah.
Why you started doing this, because it was all about being healthy for the first time. It was about finding that healthy, and knowing that the healthier I was, the easier it would be for you to fight this terrible, debilitating disease that you were experiencing.
Yeah.
So how does it lead you today?
How does it what?
How does that why help you today on this journey still? Like, what is that why doing for you now still?
It's still the same fire, I'll tell you. I am having a few symptoms. So my MS is kind of doing this. It's a change of season. Sometimes I get it in the winter. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, I was like, it's not happening. So my neurologist is like, you just keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, yep, because it hasn't changed. Like, that is my worst fear is in front of me. Like, and that is something that it will always be in the back of my head, but it's also my driving force to stay healthy, to eat right, to get lots of rest, to drink all the water. By the way, 2020 was tough to do all of that stuff and maintain a good, positive mental attitude. It was a tough year, and I did put some weight on, but I'm okay with that. And it's coming off. So It is what it is. Like I said, it's not a size for me. It's just, it's not a size. I mean, initially, we all had that size. Let's be honest. I had the pants, right? Yeah. We all have something we want to fit into. You know, a girlfriend of mine wants to fit back into a wedding dress. She's going to be 50. And I was like, okay, let's, do it. Like, let's get active. You can do it. That's great. And we all have those pants, and I have the pants, and I surpassed the pants because I knew that I could do more than that. And sometimes someone says that I'm running from my MS because I am a runner. I'm not. I think I'm just chasing the next dream. And right now, the end result for me, it doesn't matter what it is my health. So.
Oh, that's amazing. And you know what? That's what's funny about I remember like when we heard your story, it hit us a lot because again, about what we were going through. And so I'm wondering, in terms of, you changing your life, have you inspired other people in your, in your direct neighborhood, your friends, family? Is there people around you like, oh, look what you did, I can do it too? Has that changed other people around you?
So when you say inspire, I'm like, oh, I hate that. But, I do.
Of inspire then?
I don't think of my story as inspiring. I know. I just think, I just think I'm just a girl doing my thing. Like I'm just a girl doing my thing. And I have people who have joined WW and who lifelong have struggled with their weight. And, some people say, oh, someone would say to me, well, if you can do it, I can. I'm like, no, do it. Like, if you want me to be the starting point, go right ahead. Like, if it means you getting healthy, like, that's fine. I do. I have as many people as I inspire me. I will tell you, I have, I have a tribe of women that I run with who are all WW members. One of them is my coach. One of them runs the center. You guys met Michelle last year. And I look at everybody's lives and I draw inspiration from all of them because everybody's just doing what they need to do.
Yeah, I love that.
And I love that. You know what? When you inspire other people inspire you. And it's just that whole idea of giving. Right? That given.
Yeah. I watch women at the gym I go to who, when they walk through the door in July or June, whenever we were allowed to reopen our gyms, who couldn't do a crunch or who couldn't last a full 2 minutes on a station that we were doing, and watching them succeed. I'm like, they inspire me. Like, it doesn't have to be the ultra Olympian who can run, a marathon in 8 seconds. Like it is the men and women who maybe have that extra weight, but they have that drive and they want to do it.
And the thing too, I think similar to us, I think you are in the same wavelength where you think your story is just regular. You're just a regular person.
Totally. Like, I'm like, guys, like I can name 100 other people who do this program who have way tougher lives than I do. So I just think I'm just me doing me. And a huge part of my success is WW. And when I stray from it, because let's be honest, you forget how to track on your phone and, you sweep those snacks under the rug and you just pretend they didn't happen. Yeah.
What food? Okay. As it's all over your face.
Right. Like chocolate. Just one sec. There you go. But I know that I am going to have a lifelong struggle with food. I do that relationship I have with food is going to be that thing but I know it works. So sometimes I have to pull my head out of my butt or out of the sand and just kind of get back on track. So it's not easy.
No, definitely not easy. But there is something that you said during that weekend, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up because this is something, again, another one of the stories that I'll never forget. I will never forget the story.
You cried the entire time I talked. You totally did. And I still have that picture of the three of us embracing, sobbing at the end.
Your story is what, like, the thing we remember the most from that weekend is your story.
Your story and the blue gloves.
And the blue gloves.
Oh my God. Yes. Buddy, I still have them and I run with them. I'll be honest. And I actually, one day in the middle of, I'm never going to run again. What the hell am I doing? And I'm out for a pity party. And there was a friggin' pair of blue gloves on the ground. Since not the time, like after my marathon disaster, since then. And it's almost like somebody sending me a signal, like, girlfriend, think about this.
Would you mind sharing a little bit about that original blue glove story?
I will share. Oh my God, the story is funny. No.
It just really motivated me to realize that when you put your mind to something, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And that just what it shows me. And I'd love for other people to hear this.
All right. Well, it's so I was training for my first marathon, and I had a blood infection, which was a bit of a side effect from my chemo. So they were concerned about treating it because how they would treat it could bring on a flare up. So they were doing it a very slow process of antibiotics and steroids and stuff. So, which were really messing with my stomach. So marathon Sunday came and I got 2K into 42 and my stomach went, and I went, oh no. And so between 2 and 10, I stopped 5 times probably to use the washroom in a ditch. And there's no toilet paper in the ditch in, October and PEI. So the story is that when you're standing out there freezing, they gave everybody these blue gloves to wear because it was cold and it was dark o'clock. It was like 6 o'clock. They drop you out at the beach and you run back into the Charlottetown. But as people get hot, the first thing we always shed is our gloves. So they were throwaways. So you toss them on the floor, they collect them, and then they donate them to one of the shelters. Oh, I collected them because that is actually what I needed to use to keep running.
Made it work. You made it work.
So I didn't make it work fully. So that's when we discovered how injured I actually was. And at kilometer 26, I had to call it off. And I was devastated. And you know what? Today, I could run 100 marathons and I still know that I have to go back to PEI and I have to slay that dragon someday. Not right now, but I came home and I was wallowing and I was miserable and I was embarrassed because I didn't ever think I couldn't finish it because I knew I could. My body had another story. Anyways, I was out for a walk in the park one day with my friend, Andrew, and literally someone tossed a pair of blue gloves on the ground. And I looked at them and I was like, well, there's a sign. And I took them. I still have those ones as well. I washed them. And I said, we're doing it. So this first week of December 1st, 2019, I ran 42K with an entourage of people with me. And we all wore blue gloves that I bought on Amazon. So at the end, we all had our hands together in a circle and someone snapped a picture. And it was like, so it's basically my tribe and I in blue gloves because sometimes shit happens.
It does.
If you have to delete that out, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's
not
okay.
at all.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. So it was a terrible experience. And in the beginning, I'm like, how do I actually tell people this story? Now I'm telling it and everybody's gonna know.
But you know what?
So that story was so poignant and so impactful because it goes to show you that we sometimes limit ourselves and it's not about limiting ourselves. It's sometimes we need to listen to our bodies and it's not like it was something that you could have controlled or you even knew was going to happen.
No.
And the fact that you kept going for as long as you did, 26 kilometers when you're not feeling well.
It's not easy.
It's not.
No, it's not easy.
After the 10 mark and I'm like, how do people do more than this? And
having
a source feeling well, doing it the entire time. Yeah, I could never.
And I think that show you that power comes from within. We have this unbelievable strength, and the fact that you finally said, okay, you know what, I need to stop now because this is not going to be.
Which kind of talks the next question that Jean-Luc that we had is.
So what do you do when you feel like you can't do it anymore? What is your
what is it?
Either you're running,
you're tracking, your journey. When you feel like your journey is just done.
I go back to basics, and that's what this year has been. So 2021 is a rebirth for Melanie. It's a reset. And I'm starting from scratch. I'm tracking like a brand new member. I'm going through the store and I'm scanning things to like stuff I haven't done in years, right? And I'm a little shocked at some of the stuff I'm eating. Anyways, go figure, cupcakes, right? Anyway,
what do you mean
they're not?
points?
Yeah, exactly. And I did the same thing with my running. I really had to stop looking back. So I had to stop looking back at my pace. I had to stop looking back at like, oh, I did this last year and I can't do it now. And I had an awe moment, actually, light bulb moment this morning when I was out for my run. I literally thought, well, if I can do like marathoners run 10 and 1. So you run for 10 minutes, you walk for 1 minute. It kind of gives you that rest. Why can't I run steady for a kilometer and give myself a 20-second stretch? It's my back and my hip that are really causing problems. So why can't I just do that? Like, and I'm like, oh, I can. So as soon as I was like, oh my God, I thought about it a different way. Now I'm kind of like, bring on the marathon. We're going to do it. We're going to do it 1 kilometer at a time. But yeah, it literally was a light bulb moment this morning when I was running. I was like, well, if I have to stop and stretch, isn't that the same as doing a 10 and 1? Like, runners do it. Olympic runners do it. Like, so there's
Why
no
ourselves goals that we are in control of. We have
we get and we make the path to get there. So how you get there doesn't, as long as you get there.
Exactly. Yeah. So I will slay that dragon. It probably won't be this year COVID, unfortunately, but I will do it. You'll see me in PEI again, and hopefully the blue gloves will just be a memento at the end. But anyway.
So the last question I want to ask you is, what do you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your journey? Something you know today, a lesson learned, or something you wish you would have known also when you joined the first time at WW?
That perfection is impossible. And end of story. And all or nothing doesn't win out in the end. Like, it really doesn't. The all or nothing mentality for anything in the end is like a diet. It doesn't change. You're not making the changes that are needed. And it's okay not to be okay. That's the biggest one I've learned. Even last year, like, I just thought I was Lifetime. So I had all the answers, and I ran that marathon with a broken hip. Like, I can do it. And all of a sudden I was like, I'm not okay. And it's all right. Like, because there are better days to come. So I just had to learn to cut myself a break. And that's not easy to do.
I love that, because that's one of the things we preach a lot about.
Definitely.
Is we're always about the perfection as well. And I think you're kind of your own mind as well. Like, you are a perfectionist. So if you couldn't achieve that full marathon, then you weren't really achieving anything until now. Each mile is something you're achieving as per that marathon now. Like, you're not.
That's right.
What you do along the way.
Yeah. So stay tuned, boys. You'll never know how far I'll run this year. You just never know. My physiotherapist sees this video. She's going to be like, "Oh my Lord, what has she just agreed that she's going to do?" Oh my heavens. Anyways, no. My physiotherapist my chiropractor are both runners, like Ironman runners. So I have a group of good women that support me. So, but yeah, so I told them, I said, I'm not done. Like, I just have to figure out how to run with a crooked back, because that's just what I have.
And I love that, Melanie. You've just showed us that there's no such thing as a defeatist unless you let yourself be defeated.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I mean, Sunflower Mel was not Sunflowery in 2020. Like, I let a lot of things defeat me last year. And looking back, I journaled through the whole pandemic, and I looked at it and I was like, I just let that one string unravel that entire sweater. And I was like, no, that's not happening. We're gonna cut that off, or we're gonna knit that sweater back up. That's exactly. I just felt like I was rabbit holing last year, and I had to stop. So, and I'm thankful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think you're not the only one. I think your story of 2020 is probably shared by many people out there. Yeah. And so the fact that you're such a strong person, and we met you before all this happened, and to know that this happened to you last year, and now we're seeing you again. It's like we're seeing snapshots, We're seeing Melanie November 2019, and then we're seeing Melanie January 2021, but we didn't see in between. Yeah. We see are good, but you didn't see what happened.
No. And the funny thing is I have an Instagram account, and I used to post almost daily, really like sunflowery, and you can do it. And one day I literally just posted like sometimes life is hard, and it's okay if, you know, you're not in the best of moods, or it's okay if you just have to say, no, I can't do this tonight. I just need to shut my brain down. Yeah. And
I
it's,
love
yeah,
that. Use the analogy that I use a lot now, and I think it's a great analogy to use. It's that whole knitting analogy. When you're knitting,
yeah,
if you make a mistake, you don't throw out the sweater. You take the knitting needles out, you undo that row, you
right.
put the knitting needles back in.
It's true. It's true. It's true. And if you can't fix the mistake, you knit around it. Like like I can't fix my back. I have a severe case of scoliosis, and that's what kind of as that this hip thing came from. I can't change that. I can't have a straight spine, so I can not do the thing that gives me joy and keeps my mind straight and my mood good. I just have to learn to run a different way, and that's what I'm doing.
You make it work for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for agreeing.
It was so good to see you guys. Well, you know, see you guys. This was awesome. Yeah, exactly. I had fun.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank everybody for watching this video. You know, if you want to see more videos like this, please don't forget to follow us at on all social media using hashtag WWGays.
You can find us on all social media at the WWGays. That's our handle. You can also find our website, wwgays.com. We will have more interviews coming out. So if you're interested in an interview, just like we just did with Melanie, send us an email, www.gays@gmail.com, and we will contact you at some point. Thank you so much.
And they
will. Definitely.
We actually do end up catching
on. They do.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, you guys take care. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks for sharing.
No problem. Bye.